My girlfriend told me about some mean pranks she did to a slower kid in high school. Is it a red flag even though it was a few years ago? Originally posted to r/relationship advice on January 3rd, 2021. So I, 24 male, have only known my current girlfriend, 22 female, for about 3 months, but we have great chemistry so far. A few days ago, we were talking about some stories we each had from high school. She told me about a weird kid in her school that her friends used to mess with. She used to pretend to be interested in being his girlfriend, and then she'd embarrass him by getting him to do something humiliating or showing their private texts to other people, etc. Or they'd set up some kind of elaborate prank on him. In the story, she told me she was on a date with him one night in a park, and she told him she wanted him to take off his pants for her. After he did it, her other friends came and took the pants, and everyone drove away, leaving him alone to walk home in his underwear. She told me more stories, but you get the point. It made me sad though, because I got the impression the guy might have been a little mentally disabled or something, because she said that after everything they do, he still wouldn't understand that she was in on all these pranks with her other friends. She'd either pretend it had nothing to do with her, or she'd make up some excuse, I guess. And the kid kept falling for it. She really thought it was funny though, like she could barely contain herself while she was telling me this stuff. Okay, so this is what I was waiting for, chat. Because if she was telling you this as like, hey, I was a fucking little asshole in high school, here's me not only confessing to it, but also telling you that it was bad and nobody should do shit like that, then I would be like, coast is clear. I've done that on this stream. I am the first person to admit that there were things I said and did when I was in high school that I'm not proud of, you know, specifically related to words that I shouldn't be saying. I was dumb, I was stupid, I thought it was cool, and I've grown and learned from it. That's what your girlfriend is missing right now. She has not grown and learned from it if she still thinks it's funny, and that is not somebody that you should be with. It's been a few days and it's bothering me, so I figured I'd ask for some advice. I have a feeling this is a huge overreaction. No, bro, no. It's just a strange feeling because she seemed incredibly sweet up to this point, but after telling me the story and the lack of remorse, it's difficult to look at her the same way. I'm not perfect by any means, and I feel like I'm being a dick for judging someone about something that happened in high school, but it still bothered me. Thanks for any advice. Don't get me wrong, I agree with you. I think people can change from high school to college to after college. Like, anybody can change, but the difference here is that she hasn't changed. If she thought it was still funny in this paragraph, that means that she hasn't changed. And sure, yeah, she's been incredibly sweet up to this point, but it's been fucking 3 months, bro. Anybody can have a mask for 3 months. Anybody can have a mask for a year, I truly think. The cracks might show, but it's easy to keep the mask on. She isn't even putting on that facade at this point. Like, she is letting out her true colors here. Like, I don't know what OP's intention is for having kids, but like, if you guys have kids, do you want her to raise your kids to treat other disabled kids like this? Because she probably will. She'll think it's funny if her kid bullies a mentally disabled kid. Yeah, bro, get out. Out, 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 out. You saw how she reacted to it. That's all you needed to see. Is the fact that she didn't see anything wrong with it now? Yes. You guys are saying it. It just should be something that she's ashamed of, but she's clearly not. That's a huge red flag. And I don't think anybody who has empathy for any human being should ever be with somebody who is okay with this at the age of 24. If you're not deeply sorry for the shitty actions that you did when you were a high schooler, you in no way, shape, or form should decide to be with this person unless you align with their values. And then you're also a shitty person. Relevant comments. First commenter. Be honest with yourself here. She repeatedly cultivated a fake romantic interest between herself and a vulnerable person purely to victimize them. She didn't make a spur of the moment error of judgment. Both her and her friends planned this out, laid the groundwork, and then executed it again and again. She didn't just mess around with someone's heart, she went all out to humiliate and harm their mental health. You have no idea how deeply the damage they did to this guy runs even to this day. People have taken their own life because of the impact bullying has had on them. And yet, she has not a single shred of remorse? She thinks it's a hoot, a great tale to tell to garner a few giggles. There is something fundamentally wrong with your girlfriend. Something you can't fix and could be turned against you one day, should you not meet her expectations somehow. That's actually such a good point. Like, if she's devious enough to like coordinate cruel pranks against somebody, that probably means she could coordinate some real fucked up shit against OP. At 3 months in, I'd call this a deal breaker and make my excuses to end things. Actually, even at 3 years in, I'd be out. I wouldn't want to risk raising a family with someone who found such cruelty so amusing. just in case they tried passing on their warped ideas at humor onto our kids. I mean, I wouldn't even make excuses to end things. I'd tell her straight up, that's fucked up. You're a bad person. I can't be with a bad person. Like, y'all, normalize not beating around the bush. Tell these fuckers why you're leaving them, because if you don't tell them the truth, then they have 0% chance of changing in the future. OOP replied to that saying, that's an insightful way of putting it. It's just difficult for me to make sense of these actions given everything else I know about her. But you're right. What she did was really terrible, and it's hard to find an excuse for it. Yeah, bro, I'm sorry. Like, it's been 3 months. Everything else you know about her is through the lens of sunshine and rainbows. Oh, it's pouch time. Oh, that's the pouchiest man. Oh, that's the pouchiest guy. That's the silliest pouch that ever pouched, chat. He's just a pouchy dude. The king in his pouch. Oh. Oh. Oh, one more turn. One more spin. One more spin. Oh. Okay, never mind. He's not settling down, chat. He's licking himself. He's licking himself, y'all. Let's let him do his thing. Second commenter. One of my favorite high school memories was explaining to the slow guy that the other kids were not being friendly and were mocking him / fucking with him. It was definitely a laugh at, not laughing with situation. He beat the shit out of them the next day they messed with him. I went to the principal and explained what had happened. Goddamn. Listen, chat, I'm all for it. Call me an asshole. Say I'm fucked in the head. I don't care. That is perfect example of fuck around and find out. He didn't get in trouble. I got told to never fucking do that again. Every job I worked in that town, he'd come visit and shop there. Many years later, I worked with his brother who was not impaired. He hugged me and said that I changed the course of his brother's life. He'd been quiet and bullied until I calmly explained things to him. After that, he became outgoing and confident. He'd ride the bus to go around town and just had a happy, vibrant life. Teenagers do dumb, cruel shit. One of the signs of growing up is leaving that shitty behavior behind. The fact that she seems to look back on treating an impaired person like shit, and it's something like a cherished memory, run. Don't walk. It's in no way an overreaction. She's a cruel, shitty person. OP replied to that saying, that's a great story. I just wanted to thank everyone for all your advice so far. I have a lot to think about and I'm pretty set on breaking up with her. But as someone else suggested, I do want to talk to her and see what she says if I actually confront her about what she did being wrong. Okay, yes, but you shouldn't stay with her if she caves and starts apologizing or something like that. Because A, I don't think it would be authentic, especially 3 months into a relationship. She's just gonna go into save the relationship mode. And number two, I think it's better for people to come to those types of conclusions themselves. Like, I applaud OP for wanting to talk, but it should be, I'm gonna break up with her, but I'm also gonna call her out on her shit. Not, I'm gonna see how she reacts when I confront her about it. And also, I'll maybe get back together with her. The story she told me made me sad, but the response of all of you made me really happy to see so many great people and to know that I wasn't overthinking it. By the way, I can't find the comment now, but someone said she probably teases dogs by holding food over its face. Just wanted to say, you're correct. That's what she did the first time she ate near my dog until I told her to stop. I hate when people do that, but I know a lot of people do, so I didn't think much of it. But seriously, amazing prediction. Thanks for helping connect the dots. Bro, I do think there are some people out there that just like cruelty. They like being cruel human beings. It's like something you would expect out of a child, bro. If this story doesn't end anything short of I told her to get lost and she's a terrible person, I'm gonna be a little disappointed, chat. Can't even lie. It gives her an easy out. That's a great way to put it, Vilsick. I feel like he needs to go into this with his mind made up that he's gonna break up with her, because I don't think this is anybody that anyone should stay with who is a real adult with empathy and is a good person. Truly. Do I think he should call her out on it? Yes, but he shouldn't give her like a, hey, I just want you to say that you're wrong here to salvage our relationship, because she probably will. She'll probably lie straight to your face. Oh no, I feel so bad. I'm sorry that it got communicated like that. I didn't mean for that. Boom, you're in a relationship with a shitty person for the next 3 years, and you waste 3 years of your life. Update, January 6, 2021, 3 days later. Hey everyone, first I wanted to say thanks for all the advice you gave me originally. I asked the question thinking I was overreacting, but as I read in some of your responses, especially from those who had traumatic experiences themselves, it sort of knocked some sense into me, so I appreciate that. That being said, this was still pretty hard for me, even though we've only been together for 3 months. I know that sounds silly, but it's true. I decided to take the advice of talking to her before breaking up. People wanted to know what the result was, so I'll try to briefly give you the gist of it. Last night, we hung out for a couple hours, and to be honest, we really had a great time together, and it was hard for me to even have this conversation at the end of it. I wanted to just move on and ignore the red flag, but I knew it shouldn't be ignored. Kind of a rough start already. Like, you still went and did stuff with her instead of just breaking up with her? Oh no, step bro. I brought up the kid she told me about again, but I did it very casually, not like I was gonna lecture her or something, so her guard was still down. She started laughing. just at the mention of him. She casually told me another story of her friend's antics with him. I then asked her why they liked to mess with him so much. She paused for a second and then kind of giggled and said, "I don't know. He was just a douchebag." I asked, why was he a douchebag? Did he do something to you to make you mad at him? She said, "Not really. He was just so stupid and naive, it was annoying." There was a pause because I didn't really know how to follow up to that answer. Then she continued and said, her exact words, "He had no purpose. He was just there to make people laugh." That's crazy, bro. That's so fucked up. It really made me sad to hear that because I wanted there to be some explanation that reduced the cruelty of the situation, but there wasn't. I got kind of angry and just told her that everything she told me was absolutely horrific, that she should think about how she would feel if someone did these things to her. I said that to torture an innocent person just because it's entertaining is a totally inhumane thing. And the fact that she still has the same mindset today shows how immature she is on top of it. I'm normally not harsh like that, but it just came out. While I was talking, she gave me a kind of look of total incredulity, like she thought I was joking or going insane or something. I told her I couldn't continue a relationship with someone like this, even though we've had such a great thing up to this point. I actually had to convince her I was serious and not joking around. She thought the real reason I wanted to break up was this minor thing that happened a couple weeks ago. She just couldn't believe that I was ending the relationship because of this. Once she knew I was serious, she got extremely angry, saying that I was getting off on shaming her because I wanted to abuse her, and that I have no right to talk to her like that, and so on. Hey girl, I don't know what your definition of abuse is, but calling someone out on being a cruel person is an abuse. You know what is abuse? Torturing somebody and pranking them because they're a little slow. That's fucking abuse. She called me all kinds of names and said how she never liked me anyway, how I'm a loser, etc., etc. But other than that, we parted ways smoothly. I got some angry texts this morning, which I'm saving for a while just in case. So there it is. I honestly feel better already because I know it's for the better, especially considering her reaction. I figured I'd give you this update since everyone seemed pretty interested in the situation. Thanks again. I mean, OP dodged a bullet. What can we say? Bro just matrixed that shit just with the... You know, like, that's crazy, man. At least she let it out 3 months in and not like a year or two in. That's why I'm saying, like, anybody who thinks that they can get together with someone so fast and like get married to them, I just think it's so unrealistic. Like, she could have hid this forever, y'all. That's on some crazy shit. For any kids listening to this, bullying isn't cool. It's fucking ass. Being nicer to people is so much cooler. Like, being nice to people compounds, just like being mean to people compounds. If you're just known as a bad person, and you start getting used to being a bad person, you're only going to manifest bad things in life. Versus if you're a good person, you're doing good things, and you're putting out good to good people, that will manifest in a positive light. Thank God he didn't get back together with her. That's the scary thing about having kids too. Like, not only do you have to worry about your kids getting bullied, but you also have to worry about your kids not becoming a bully, you know? Those types of girls are the ones that deserve to be manipulated by some stupid Republican man, you know? Like, oh, you're a bad person. I don't care if you get manipulated by some Republican ass piece of shit man. You deserve it.